It all started with a shocking revelation that shattered, or should I say nearly shattered, what was supposed to be the happiest moment of their lives. You remember Kene, through his friends, had just discovered Amaka's dark past, just days before their wedding, and for a moment, everything they had built seemed to crumble. He had been torn between love and disappointment, between trust and betrayal. He had locked himself up in the room. Only his father was able to go talk to him. His father spent quite a time in Kene's bedroom, having a heart-to-heart father and son talk. Kene's father, a man with a deeply buried past, had shared his own story with his son, a story of crime, regret, redemption, and love. He had once been a notorious armed robber, a ruthless man who had left scars on his community. He told his son how he was feared by all, including the security forces, as all attempts to capture him and his gang only resulted in casualties, mostly from the other side. But all that changed the day he stepped into a church at the insistence of his late mother. That single encounter with God had turned his life around. He dropped his life of crime and needed a new beginning. His late mother then advised him to change location and serve God with all his mind so that God can direct his path. So, he left his past behind, moved to Abuja, started a new business, supplying building materials. Business was good and he made a lot of money. One fateful day, as he came into the bank to deposit his money, he met a very beautiful lady, the woman who would become Kene's mother. When Kene asked if he had kept his past a secret from his mother, his father admitted he had, until the eve of their traditional wedding. That night, he had summoned the courage to confess everything, afraid she might walk away. But instead of turning her back on him, she had simply said, "It is all in the past now, as long as you will never return to such a life." His father concluded by telling him that it is not easy to share a painful past, especially one filled with shame, one that the bearer is not proud of. That conversation changed Kene's perspective. He realized that Amaka had probably struggled with the same fear his father once did. "What should I do?" he asked his father. "My son," he said, "that decision is solely yours to make. As your father, I have advised you. It is like taking the camel to the water source, but the camel has to decide if he wants to drink or not," his father said. He reminded him that if his mother had walked away, he would not have existed. He would not be here, deciding on his own marriage. When Kene's father came out of his bedroom, his mother, who has been very worried, wanted to go inside and see her son, but his father, her husband, stopped her. "Allow him to think and decide what he wants. He is a man, and I hope he would take the right decision. But whatever he decides, good or bad, we would stand by him." After a heartfelt conversation with his father, and with all that his father said in mind, Kene needed time to think. He took his friends out, lodged in a hotel for 24 hours, and had deep, heart-to-heart conversations with them. They all apologized for their earlier reactions and assured him they would support whatever decision he made. He assured his friends that he has nothing against them. After all, he had not met Amaka when they met her. He also told them that he has made up his mind, promising to tell everyone what he had decided. During this time, Amaka called repeatedly, sent countless messages, and begged for a chance to talk, but Kene ignored her. He was not ready to talk to her. Amaka's world was crumbling. She wished that her mother was alive. Kene's mother tried to console her, assuring her that everything would be fine. But Amaka was not having it. Her life was slipping away. She said to her mother-in-law-to-be, "If he cancels the wedding, I don't know what I would do to myself." She told her mother that life has never been fair to her, even now that she believed that God has finally wiped her tears. The past came calling. What would she do now? Kene's mother consoled her as she laid her head on her shoulder and cried her heart out. By the time he returned home the following morning, Amaka, who had lost all hope, packed all her bags, told her friends and bridesmaids to go home, and was ready to leave the luxurious mansion with her brother. She had come to terms with the fact that Kene would never forgive her or marry her. As she stepped out, he drove into the compound with his friends. The tension was heavy. Everyone expected him to call off the wedding. Amaka stood there, crying, unable to raise her head. Kene called everyone together for an announcement. "I thought marriage was a bed of roses," he began, as they stood in the middle of the luxurious compound. "I thought one had to marry a perfect person. But I have learned the hard truth about marriage, one that no one tells you." Amaka sobbed harder. She was sure this was the moment he would walk away. Amaka was forced by life to do something terrible in the past. We all have our past. But this is not easy for me, and I can't pretend about it. So, I have made up my mind. The air was thick with tension. The silence was unbearable. He looked at his father, who carried a worried face. Then he turned towards his mother, who was already in tears. Then he turned to Amaka, looking her straight in the eyes. "You should have told me before now," he said. "Even if you thought I would leave, it was my decision to make. Now, you have brought us to this more difficult point. But my father told me a story that helped me decide. The past is the past, as long as we don't return to it." Hearing that word, his mother looked up to her husband, Kene's father, with surprise as he smiled at her, looking down on her face, nodding his head. He took her hands in his. "I will forever love you. We can't cancel a beautiful union that God Himself has ordained." Gasps filled the air. Amaka, shocked, stared at him in disbelief. Then, as the realization hit her, she threw her arms around him and wept on his chest. The entire gathering erupted in joy. Cheers and applause filled the air. His friends watched in amazement, wondering the kind of heart he has. Kene's father, watching the scene unfold, held his wife's hand and smiled. "This is my true son," he whispered as he pointed a finger towards him. The wedding went ahead as planned, but it was no longer just about two people coming together. It was about love, forgiveness, and the power of second chances. In relationships and in life, communication is key. No one is perfect, and everyone has a past. But hiding the truth out of fear only makes things worse. The right time to speak may not always be clear, but honesty is always better than secrecy. Kene's father was honest with his wife, and it gave him a beautiful family. Amaka's fear of losing Kene delayed the truth and almost ruined the beautiful thing they had going, but in the end, love and forgiveness prevailed. Trust is fragile, and once broken, it takes effort to rebuild. But if love is real, and both parties are willing to fight for each other, even the darkest past can be left behind. Love is not about perfection, it's about acceptance, growth, and choosing each other every day. If you enjoyed our story, kindly let us know your thoughts. What do you think about Kene's decision? What would you have done if you were in his shoes? Would you go ahead with the wedding or call it off? Let us know in the comment section. Please like this video to help it grow. Also share to friends and family to help someone learn. Subscribe and hit the notification button if you haven't. This will notify you anytime we upload beautiful stories like this. Thank you as always for watching. From the stables of the echoes of old, we love you.